Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Critical Twits gaming podcast. Today we look at flicking games, Ice Cool, Cube Quest and Terror in Meeple City. Eep. Hello, we're the Critical Twits. More specifically, I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Aaron Ravitsky.
And I'm Joe Lewin.
And we have been flicking, ladies and gentlemen. Flicking like mad.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there was a
flicking
comma
a testicle and running away.
Flicking, comma, ladies and gentlemen, comma, not flicking ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we've been playing some skill games recently, all based around the noble art of flicking. We've been playing Ice Cool, Cube Quest and Terror in Meeple City. So we'll look at them in turn.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a discussion, make some recommendations.
Yeah.
Do we think though, how do you think skill games compare to the kind of things we normally cover, the more cerebral, tactical strategy based board games?
I'd say there's still a small element of the tactical and things like that. We still get like, if I do this, this can happen. Yeah, I should do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's more fun, I think. I think it's more less of that and more on just, I could bash this and things fly around the room. That's funny.
I love our in-depth tactical cerebral stuff, but I quite like the odd break from it. And these games are brilliant for it. They're also better for we've had a lot of fun playing these games.
Yeah.
But you can introduce them to a much wider audience because...
what do you do? Oh, well, you flick things.
You flick the thing at the thing and hope something happens. Yeah,
you don't have to draw 5 cards, decide which 3 are going to be your actions, and then roll the dice, put the man on the thing. You flick stuff. Yes.
So for your more like dribbly mates like Colin, they're much easier to introduce them to.
Yeah, so it's quite nice sort of crossover. They're more accessible maybe than quite a lot of the games that we cover.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. And we have actually played some of these games with people who aren't huge gamers.
Yes.
I don't mean in body mass. I mean in enthusiasm, depth, knowledge.
I was going to say, we are a rather large podcast, unfortunately. Or at least
Speak for yourself, I'm svelte. Yeah, because I just thought that it might be something people look at these kind of games and go, that's childish, that's for kids, that's not for me. I'm a gamer, don't you know? I'm not just someone who flicks things around a table. I don't know why they talk like that. So, yeah, I just thought as well before we got going, what's the weirdest thing you guys have ever flicked?
Technically it was flicking anyway. When I was a kid on a school trip, I was playing, we had like a Tiddlywinks championship at the hotel we were staying at on a school trip.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. They had one going on at the hotel while you were there, or the school decided it would be a good idea to have a Tiddlywinks championship? Because either this is a weird coincidence or a wank school.
School of Wank, starring Jack Black.
I think it was a wank school, but they implied that they specially put the Tiddlywinks tournament on.
Fantastic.
For us.
Continue.
Yes. But we were having shandies. This was like year 6, so age 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Less wank, more just massively irresponsible.
Yeah, the 90s were a different time.
They were certainly.
He said, understanding how time worked. The past was different to now.
It was a totally different epoch.
Yeah. Herds of school children grazing upon
knowledge.
Feasting
upon... not Aaron's school, beer.
Yeah. Feasting upon inequality. Mocking the foreign children.
Flicking bits of plastic in their spare time.
Yeah. It was a simpler time. It was a less politically correct time. So you were tanked up on Shandy playing Tiddlywinks.
So playing Shandy playing Tiddlywinks. I also distinctly remember having minestrone soup for lunch. Now, this is going to be important very shortly.
Okay, I'm glad that's integral to the plot, otherwise it's just a very weird anecdote.
So I'm lining up a shot, just about to flick, and one of my schoolmates beside me starts looking a bit ill and sweating ever so much. I just ignore it and carry on, flick my fear across, get lined up for my second shot, and my friend froze up. because they've had one too many shandies. And the minestrone comes back up with them. So nice chunky bits of sick land right underneath my finger where I was flicking. So I actually squirted a load of sick just up above the tiddlywink spawn. The person sat opposite me.
I've never flicked anything interesting. I just thought
No.
I did have a story, but I forgot. So I'll tell you about a game that we played when I was at school, when I was in sixth form. So in sixth form we had a common room.
Yeah.
Where all the poor
Did you have
children
a
would
posh
go.
room as well?
Yeah. It was called King's. It was a different school. It was down the road. But in the common room, we had quite a lot of free periods that we weren't used to having.
Being young teenagers, it does happen, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we used to play a game where you would spin a coin, so that it was spinning on its edge really, really quick, and you had to try and catch it between your index and middle fingers. After your opponent had span it.
Yeah.
If you failed to catch it, you had to lay your knuckles down, so put your hands knuckles down on the table, and you would take your opponent would take the coin, put it on their thumbs, and flick it as hard as they could from both hands, so the edge of the coin went into your knuckles.
Okay.
I've still got scars from playing this game. Just trying to show you them, but I've got a bit of a tan in them.
Yeah, because for the flicking back, you'd do that and really
just
flick
out.
Yeah, no,
you were in a completely different school.
I've played the same game.
Played the same game. Did you ever play any kind of games like that when you were a kid? Like violent, nasty games?
Slaps. We used to play one with...
Yeah, but this is for people with money, Aaron.
We didn't have that, you see.
We dreamed of having a coin in our school. Because we were pirates,
There's that
apparently.
one kid that had one.
So, the first game we're going to look at is Ice Call, a penguin-based flicking game from Brain Games, designed by Brian Gomez. This came out at the UK Games Expo, where, for full disclosure, we received a review copy.
We did indeed.
We're going to talk about it now, but you can see our full in-depth video review should be up later the week this comes out. So if you're listening to it far in the future, it should be out already. If not, probably the Thursday after this comes out. And we've done loads of penguin jokes. Do one of you guys want to run through how it works, just briefly?
Which is this? What, Ice Cool?
Ice Cool, yeah.
Okay, so with Ice Cool, you with Ice Cool, you take the top off the box, and you're presented with increasingly smaller boxes inside, essentially,
Right.
unlidded, but.
Yes,
So
so you've
the
got
same. So
6 compartments?
1, 2, 5. Yeah. So they all come out and get arranged to form the playing board.
Yeah.
With nice little barriers around the edge and between rooms and everything.
They each form individual rooms with doorways between little central
little
chamber.
colours to match up. I would love to see an expansion that made it bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have the little wooden fish pegs that hold it together, and then on certain doors you put coloured pegs as well for points to be scored.
Yeah.
Three of you, we'll talk about it as if it's a 4-player game.
Yeah, so we've got 4 players.
So if you've got 4 players, one of you is the hall monitor. They will place themselves in their designated room.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other 3 players, they'll each get one turn of placing the penguin in the middle of the classroom and flicking it once.
Yeah. The reason it's called Ice Cool is it's meant to be a pun on high school, and your penguins are skiving class to go and collect fish.
Yes.
It doesn't really work as a pun. I say this as a man who has many failed puns. I didn't realise for ages that it was meant to be a joke.
Really? I caught that straight away.
What,
to be honest.
Ice Cool high school thing?
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, Joe looked
because it's that
confused.
fucking bad.
Yeah.
But the game's awesome. So
Spoilers!
so it's okay. You basically you take it in turns. You get one flick and or touch, nudge or caress of your penguin.
Yeah.
Many times when I've gone, I kind of poked it in the head and it didn't move.
I caressed one round a corner the other day. It was amazing.
And yeah,
It's a high school penguins, Brian. Calm it down.
Yeah, we won. No, high school's good. No.
high school's like secondary school, so only in the later years.
I thought high school was from 14 to 18.
Is, but there's still that 14 to 18 period.
So yeah, so you've got to manoeuvre your penguins around the board, getting through the doorways with your coloured fish on while avoiding the hall monitor.
Yes.
If the hall monitor crashes into you, they take away your hall pass.
Or if you crash into the hall monitor.
Yes.
Or if someone else knocks you into them.
Yes, any touching of the hall monitor is bad.
Yes. Sad penguins. do, 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 do.
Nobody likes a hall monitor.
Yeah.
But being knocked through a doorway doesn't grant you the fish. You have to be doing it during your move, as it were.
Yes. Yeah.
Getting one of your fish grants you a card. For every hall pass you have at the end of the round, you get a card.
And and the hall monitor takes your pass.
Yes, so he can gain. That's how he gets his cards, because he doesn't have any fish to gain.
Yeah. He's following the rules.
Yes.
Stay in school, penguins.
Don't do fish. They don't like it. So yeah, you go round. You try and take you try and get your fish while avoiding the hall monitor. The round ends when you have got all 3 fish on the doorways, or the hall monitor has all of the passes.
Yeah.
And then you rotate round to the next person being hall monitor.
Yes.
And you play again.
Yeah.
And you go round and round and round until everyone's been the hall monitor.
Yeah.
And then you add up the fish that you got.
Yes.
Bob's your mother's brother.
And that's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fish you get common cards with various numbers on.
It's 1 to 3 for the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah. The ones have ice skates on as well.
Yeah.
Like fishing, you getting a boot type thing, but the Arctic version.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you have 2 of those, you can reveal them because your points are hidden. So you are basically going, look, I got some crap cards, but you get an extra turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could flick twice in a row.
Yeah.
Or 3 times if you've been shit unlucky.
Once, twice, 3 times a flicker.
That is nice cool as a breakdown of how it works.
Yeah, no, that's a great little run through.
Yeah.
So what do we think?
I've enjoyed every game we've played of it.
Yeah. I think one thing we didn't mention is how the penguins themselves work, because they're quite unique as playing pieces.
Leave a bit of mystery. Let them go and watch the review where they can see a
None of
penguin
this
in
will make
action.
sense.
That's true.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to do that?
Yeah. So the little penguin pieces come on a kind of concaved piece with the penguin sitting in the middle of it. They look very similar to Sputio pieces, but they rise up a little bit higher.
Yeah, or weebles.
Or weebles. They look very, very much like weebles.
Yeah, and utilise some of the same technology.
Yes, because they weeble wobble, but they don't fall down. That might get copyright striked.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, they're dead now.
Hello, Blob.
So unlike Sputio pieces, they don't just glide in a straight line or curve ever so slightly if you manage to flick it ever so fun, but they're very easy to curve around in corners. They wobble all over the place, and if you flick them just right in the head, you can bounce them off over the top of the walls and into other rooms of the piece.
That's my favourite bit.
It is awesome.
Because it's a bit like penguins. They can't fly, but I'm sure they can jump a little bit and have a go. So it
They
feels
mostly
a little
slip
bit.
and fall, I think. But
Yes, yeah.
Which is mostly how you play ice cool, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure if the flicking the head thing was an intentional thing.
Yes.
Is that mentioned in the rules?
When we when we went to the UK Games Expo and got our preview copy, we also played a couple games with them there, and they were like, if you do this, you can make them jump. And then I spent ages not being able to do it because I couldn't follow simple instructions.
Yeah,
but worked it out later.
It sounds like I wasn't paying any attention to the expo stuff. I was off tournamenting while you guys were doing interviews and getting free stuff.
And if you want to know how that turned out for Joe,
go and see that Dice Masters one we did.
Yeah.
Where I talked about silly mistakes and not sleeping.
Yeah. I think we may even mentioned this a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah, so you enjoyed it, Aaron? You enjoyed playing it? How many games have you played? Because you say, I've enjoyed every game, but 2 times I have tried.
Yes, I've played probably over 10 games now, because I've played it a few times with my wife.
Yep.
We will come to the 2-player variant in a moment, because there's something I do need to bring up about that. But it's been fun every game I've played. The random elements to the cards mean that even when I'm being a bit poo and not being able to get out of my actual classroom, which is fairly common, unfortunately.
3 flick Aaron to get out the first door.
Yes. 3 flick Ravinsky.
That'd normally be probably quite a good thing. But I've enjoyed every game of it. I've always felt engaged and like I'm having fun. That's what you want from a game, to be fair.
Yeah. I've played probably half a dozen games of this. I didn't expect to like it because it is aimed at kids, like Pokemon Go. Yeah, it's aimed at kids.
Yeah.
It's very cutesy, primary colours on the penguins, simple rules. But actually, there's a surprising amount of skill,
Yeah.
which I like stuff I can get better at.
Yeah.
Part of what makes me want to play a game again is going, oh, I should have done this, or I could try that. And in this case, it's like it's just getting better. You're just getting better at curving the penguins or flicking it in a straight line or jumping, whatever skills you're using.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's something that keeps me coming back to games.
Yes.
And I also like the chaos of it.
Yeah.
I like things that are a little bit unpredictable. Weird stuff can happen. I mean, I've sent penguins flying across the room with an overzealous jump.
Yeah.
We've had all sorts of crazy things happen. We've had things bouncing off the walls and going in places they shouldn't. We've had penguins spinning around and smacking everybody and stealing all the hall passes at once.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind of fun.
It is. It only takes 20 minutes to play.
Yeah, I'd say that. Occasionally you can get the odd 30-minute game, somebody's being really careful lining things up, or
just if you're all terrible, I can see it taking a bit longer.
yeah, I think the first few games you played took about 30 minutes, but that's not a long time for a
it's
game
not.
at all.
No, it's
No.
But they are fairly quick, and it's quite, once you've played, you normally want to get up and go, oh, let's have another game, because
And
it's so quick.
fairly fast paced, because one
Yeah.
thing that puts me off games is waiting for other people to have their turn, because I just end up chewing on my own elbow skin in frustration.
Yeah.
I mean, while it's not necessarily always fast-paced, like Aaron said, if people are waiting and trying to line up
Yeah.
and decide, oh, do I go that way, do I go that, it's still funny watching the chaos happen.
Yes.
I'm going to carefully go through this doorway, and they bounce off in a complete direction
Yeah.
and end up flying off the board.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
And this is something that skill games do that other games don't.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that with the other games that we've got as well. But there is, because you've got the physicality involved, there are lots of things that can happen that can't happen in, say, just placing cards down in a strict set of rules. You end up, like, I remember, Joe, you flicked your penguin into a wall back and then accidentally caught it with your finger as you moved your finger back. So it looked for a world like you just smacked its face into the wall and then put it back. And it just hadn't gone anywhere.
No.
I've managed
And
to...
it's like, what's going on? What's
I
happening?
managed to wedge mine in the doorway at one point.
Yes, you did. All of this may be in the video as well,
Yes.
because this was while we were recording.
Yeah.
And having things like where the penguin is spinning round and very, very slowly moving towards the others, and you're like, is it gonna hit it? Is it not?
Yeah.
There's just a nice sort of chaos to it.
Yeah.
Being a game aimed at kids, Joe, you're our resident
Parent?
procreator.
No, just parent.
Yes. Oh, it's so complicated.
I know. So as the parent, not of you guys, but the one here that has a child.
He's disowned me, Father.
This game is really fun for kids. The four of us three, and my daughter played.
Yeah.
Together. And it's not like normally when you try and involve a kid in a game you're playing where you're just like, oh, it's ruining our fun. It's not playing right.
That's my default setting whenever children are involved, I have to admit.
But actually, with this, perfectly fine, because she put us to shame on a couple of occasions with it. She was quite good.
Yeah. It was really easy for her to grasp. She understood instinctively what she was doing and how to do
flick
it.
the penguin through the thing.
She was quite active on asking to play again. She wanted to actually get the board out and put it away, because even that was kind of an element of... She seemed to be engaged with doing that as well.
This is it. So as a parent, or if you're looking or listening to this and think, I have children, maybe they'll enjoy it. Yeah, they probably will. We mentioned a couple of other things before about the longevity of it potentially. We've noticed one of our pieces is becoming a little bit
looks like it's
wobbly.
coming out of the little wobbly bit.
Yeah, I think they click in. I think a little bit of super glue would
That's it.
just do that.
But that wouldn't be a problem with the penguin.
No.
We all had concerns initially over how well the board itself would last.
Yeah, because you're pegging things onto the top of it, so you're always scraping a certain section of the board over.
And you are flicking hard plastic things with a pointy beak into it.
Yes.
But actually, we sat there and went across and had a look at it all and checked the board, and there's no damage to it. There's not even dents on the wall, really.
No.
I'm running my hand along the edge going, well, we always hit this bit.
Yeah, nothing.
There's nothing. So
It's been
sturdy. It's well constructed.
Yeah, so while there is part of me that would be worried it would get battered, and if you've got slightly heavy-handed kids, don't let them put it together, because I reckon if you lent on it, you would damage it.
Yeah.
And once it's damaged, it's probably a bit buggered.
Yeah.
But for just playing the game,
very,
very well made.
Set up for it.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is I played quite a handful of 2-player games with my wife. Because she wanted to have a go and muck about, and there's only a couple of us in the house. We played a few games over a couple of different days. It's still fun, but that chaos element is vastly reduced.
Yeah.
Because there's only you two chasing each other around a thing, so if one of you is infinitely better than the other one, then it's really unfair, and I can see somebody getting frustrated with that a little bit. But at the same point, you've got a bit more room to do fancy manoeuvres and spin your way around several rooms or flick your way over and stuff like that. So it kind of balances out. It would still be fun, but I could see a parent and a child, particularly a child, maybe getting frustrated if they can't get the hang of the skill.
Yeah.
And the parents are better at it. Or vice versa, to be honest.
Yeah.
As Untold proved.
Yeah, kids pick things up fairly quickly.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to... The 2-player one doesn't super appeal to me, but I'd happily play 3 or 4-player games.
Yeah. But the same element, there's a lot of games out there that advertise as being 2-player as well as 3 or 4, and they don't work as 2-player.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of game that's great if you've got 20 minutes and you're waiting for the last member of your gaming group to turn up.
Yeah.
Because it packs and unpacks so quickly.
Yes.
It's so well designed. I mean, I don't mind a big game, but sometimes you can spend longer setting up a game than you do playing it. Mansions of Madness!
Shit.
Yes, Twilight Imperium! All those games just take far too long. And I think that's a big thing as well for a kids game. You don't want the kids to have to spend half an hour getting all the bits in the right place, because they'll just wander off and lick a plug socket.
Yeah, it's generally what they do. But that's it. I mean, to be fair, like I said, as long as your kids aren't heavy-handed and they're going to be fairly gentle with it, they can help set this up. You're just matching the door colours, because there's a little coloured semicircle. There's a black semicircle with a coloured dot in the middle on each door. Yeah. So you're just matching the colours up.
Yeah.
It sets up in one way. It's very hard for them to get that wrong.
Yeah.
So actually, the kids could help quite easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any educational value to it, Joe? As a parent?
As a parent...
Speaking as a mother.
It could help with their mental arithmetic, with how you've got to add up your fish and everything else.
True, yeah.
Beyond that...
There's some manual dexterity stuff, fine motor control in there.
It's important.
But there's no complexity in there that's going to really teach them anything beyond getting them used to adding things up, which is always useful. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't really underplay how good it is to be able to do maths in your head. Yeah. It's a skill a lot of people lack.
And there's some light tactics as well in, right, Aaron's gone through that doorway.
So
if I go through the other one, then the hall monitor can't get both of us. We've got more time to get those. Which doors are you going to go in which order? Oh, they've come this way, right, rethink the plan. So there is... It's not an in-depth game in any way, shape or form.
Of learning potential, but it's not one of the...
Yeah. No. So I suppose the big test of this is, because we got this for free, it costs in the region of £25 to £30, depending on where you pick it up from online. Yeah. Would you pay that for it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, to be totally honest.
Yeah? Yeah, I'd happily pick this up. And I don't have kids, never will, don't want them. And I'd still see it getting used, getting played.
Yeah.
Cool, excellent. Right. Cool. So our second game is Cube Quest. Now, Aaron.
Yes.
Tell us about Cube Quest.
Cube's quest is Cube's quest to find his lost brethren. So he has gone searching up the far northern trails for his northern brother, Ice. He's looking for his intellectual pal, Rubik's. He's also desperate to find his gelatin friends, Stock and Jelly. His Japanese cousin, Game. And if you've bought the space expansion, the Borg too.
I think you may have been playing the wrong game.
Oh.
Did you click the link I sent you? Or did you just
No, I typed in Cubes Quest.
Okay. What we were actually looking at, Aaron, is Cube Quest.
Why would Cube on his own go for a quest?
Cube's not a person.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Well, why don't you tell me about Cube Quest and cheer me up a bit?
Cube Quest is a 2-player game where you flick cubes at fortresses made up of your opponent's cube, trying to knock their king cube off of the board. If you can knock their king off the board, you win. The different cubes that you have different abilities based on what's printed on them.
Yep.
So you might have knights that are very likely to come back and rejoin your side once they've gone into enemy territory. You might have spies that can actually go into enemy territory, and normally they'd be rolled and either removed or returned back to your fortress, but they can stay there. You can have freeze cubes, so spells that you play and you put it on top of some of your opponent's cubes and they can't move them until the freeze cube is knocked off. Or you might have healing cubes that allow you to take the cube away, roll it like a dice, and you pop a certain number of points worth of cubes back onto the board. It's far more fun than it should be.
Yeah.
And it has the potential there for you to, if you prefer using a certain type of cube, you like the abilities, you can do sort of a points buy thing and draft in what you like.
Yes.
What I recommend you do is just play with everything because it was far more fun.
Yeah, building up your own kind of tower of defence.
Yeah, so the first thing you do is you build up your line of defence, and then sort of see who goes first and start literally flicking the cubes from the positions they're in at your opponent's defences.
Yes.
Trying to destroy them, knock that king cube out, or knock their cubes. Anything that goes off the board is automatically destroyed.
Yeah.
If it lands in your opponent's half, as I said, it's rolled, and certain cubes are more likely to come back depending on the faces and stuff.
Yeah.
If you flick something really bad and it lands in your own half, then it just kind of stays there in the way.
Yeah.
I had far more fun with this than I should have. It reminded me of being a kid and building a fort out of different things, and kind of when you were a kid and used to play toy soldiers by going pow and knocking things over, or taking
BB pellets,
and running things over, or flicking BB pellets or shooting them at figures.
Yeah.
My WWF figures. Not World Wildlife Federation. I didn't shoot. No plastic animals were harmed in the making of this anecdote. My wrestlers, I had the ring with the thing that you could flick them and they'd flick into the ring.
Yeah.
And I used to line all my wrestling figures up and shoot them with my air rifle.
Cool.
It reminded me of that, being a kid and doing that. It's really physical. There's some very light strategy in what you choose to take and such like,
and the building element.
And the building element, actually working out how to build an effective defence was quite good. What I'd recommend you do is you put some kind of screen between you and the other person so you can't see them building their defence while you're going, so you're not reacting to each other.
Would also recommend possibly buying a ballistic shield for putting in front of you when over-vigorous players flick them too hard at you.
This is something, we need to mention. We've all played this.
Yes.
We have.
It cost me about £19. It's been out for a little while. It wasn't expensive at all. There's quite a lot of cubes in there. There's sort of 60, 70.
Yeah.
The rules are really simple.
they are. It's a good, fun game.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has its flaws. There are a few things I would like to have seen done differently.
Such as?
I don't like that the mat's in two halves.
Yeah, because it gives you a little bit of a lip.
Yeah.
Yes, if it's not matched up perfectly, then that's just crap. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it does seem a bit weird.
I was going to say it's a fairly minor thing. I suppose it depends on how you keep your mats.
Yeah, and how
how
strict you're. Yeah, if you're less playing it for fun or actually trying to be competitive with it, one player might have an advantage over the other.
If we sat down and had a tournament of this, we'd need our heads checking, I think.
Yeah.
Cubes tournament.
Yes. We should invite him along.
Yeah, we should, yeah. He's going to bring a lot of other friends, though, it's a problem.
Is he related to Qubit? That was a guy, wasn't it?
No, that's his arch rival that goes and jumps on all of his friends' heads constantly.
Yeah.
He's a right little bastard.
Jelly Cube would be fine with that, though, wouldn't he? He'd just bounce off.
Done.
That's gelatinous cube.
I always get the two confused.
They've missed a trick there.
Don't
have.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I mean, having them as they're little plastic dice in essence.
Yeah,
as pieces.
slightly bigger than a
Normal
average
dice.
dice and sort of recessed slightly in the middle.
Yeah. It makes sense because it means they're a bit easier to flick, not going to cause harm to your fingers, stuff like that, which I think is a nice element. Don't really like the way the pictures are printed on them. I think that could have been done a lot nicer.
Yeah.
They look a little beta testy to me.
They don't look the best. Yeah,
No,
definitely.
but at the same point, they're being bashed around. You
Yeah.
probably don't want to be printing really expensive stuff on something that's going to get bashed.
Well, there's two ways of looking at that. If they charged an extra tenner for each game and had ones that were properly printed and everything, because it's stickers at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going, well, it'd look nicer and it might last longer.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. I'm not a creator of such things, but yeah, the beta testy feel definitely. It doesn't necessarily feel like a finished product.
The mats are really nice.
The mats
They're
are-
the sturdy mouse mat style.
Yeah, again,
They
it'd be
feel
nice if it was
nice.
one solid mat
Yes,
rather than two
yeah.
individual ones. But yeah, that's decent quality.
Yeah.
It just the blocks could have been a bit nicer.
Yeah.
But the game itself, yeah, like you said, there's a nice.
It's playable.
Yeah. The tactics in it are quite interesting. I mean, when we did it the point scoring way and stuff like that, there was a little bit of actual thought going into what I'd want to take with me based on odds and things like that and coming back.
Yeah, and I've seen everyone's trying to sort of work almost like a physics puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
how do I stop them bashing through? How do I protect my king? And we very quickly learnt to put things across the back to stop the king getting knocked off, so he'd hit into something rather than flying off the back of the board.
We started putting the pieces that we were going to flick at a slight angle so we could flick them in rather than just forwards. Because the angle you'd be flicking it at.
Yeah. Because they're cubes, it's quite difficult
if you flick it
not to get them just to go in a straight line. You can do it, and we were all getting quite good. Again, we were learning the skills as we went along.
Yeah, learning which ones, like with the freeze one and stuff like that, there's a little bit of tactical element doing that. Or the one that could sneak in partway through the game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I enjoyed playing this.
Yes.
Again, it had that capacity for silliness, for crazy trick shots, real improbable wins where you've smacked a thing into a thing and then it's hit a thing and then the guy's gone off, things like that. You need to make sure that you're careful about where you're playing it, because we spent quite a long time while the game was being played. The one of us that wasn't playing was running around on our hands and knees trying to find missing cubes.
Like some kind of geek ball boy running around.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, if you could get some kind of ball boy, contact your local school, bit of work experience, maybe ask down the job centre, just have someone just running interference.
Again, they could do a deluxe version of this that comes with one of those mosquito nets you hang from the ceiling that covers the table, and then it's not going to go outside of that, and it'd be quite easy to find. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game does have the problem of if you're a little bit overzealous.
Which we are.
Yes.
Of course, and anyone that plays this game will be.
Yeah.
Because the harder you hit it, the more stuff goes flying, and it's awesome.
Yeah, this is the thing. When you play Penguins, you don't want to just flick things as hard as you can.
Yeah. No,
sometimes you want to get a really good, but you're aiming or you're jumping and you don't want to fly off the board.
Yeah.
This really does, as long as you can stop it taking off, it does kind of reward brute force.
Yes.
It is, So that's Cube Quest, published by Gamewright, designed by Gary and Oliver Sibthorpe. Good name. And I enjoyed that for 20 quid for something that's throwaway and a bit silly. Again, it's an in-between game.
Yeah.
It's only 2-player.
Yeah, which...
Do you think it's more... If you're looking for one of these types of games to play with 2 people, because there's just, say, you and a partner, or you've got a very small gaming group because everyone else died in a war.
Yeah. Or fell into a vagina.
Yeah, wasn't allowed.
Never escaped.
wasn't allowed out because now they have a girlfriend, or now they don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah. How has Colin been managed to be that weird?
Colin's the single one who should be able to have all the time and
has
can't do anything.
No, but To be fair, you could buy 2 copies of this, line the mats up, and play a 4-player deathmatch variant.
Yeah, I could see that happening quite happily.
You could have 2 people. You know those air bazooka things you can buy.
Yes.
2 people. It's like cannons. On your side that would have to aim at the board and blast them.
Yeah, you get 1 shot each for the artillery.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Although I do feel that with the weight of the cubes, because to stress, the cubes are very light.
Yes, yeah.
One air bazooka shot would probably just destroy their entire army.
You could probably turn around and fart your opponents.
I reckon if you opted to go second and have the king 1 piece and an air bazooka, that might be fair, because they've got a chance to kill you first before you just annihilate them. It's the quick 2-minute version of the game.
Yeah. You get an elastic band each and put it around your hand like a gun and try and shoot something off.
Yeah.
The assassination, the sniper rifle variant.
Yeah.
I think
They've missed a trick with Kickstarter goals.
we've obviously enjoyed this to some degree because we're talking about ways we can make it sillier and such like. It's not a serious game in any way, shape or form, but it is quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it's something if it got put on the table and go, oh, can we play that? Because I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. 20 quid. I think, as you were saying, Joe, adding some money on and having slightly sturdier pieces, I'm not going to play it enough to really want to do that. It costing me $18.99, I think it was, for a game that's going to get played 3 or 4 times a year when we're in between other things or we're feeling silly. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Again, I could see myself sitting and playing on that with rocks.
Yeah.
So I think playing that with kids would work perfectly well.
Kids like destroying things, I've noticed.
Yes,
I tried to get the cat to play this with me because the cat loves to destroy things, but all she did was destroy my love of gaming, and now I'm sad. Before we talk about the last game then, these sort of skill games are picking up in popularity. There are a couple more recent ones that I haven't managed to sort of get hold of yet, but having played these, I'd now be confident. They're a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
And I wasn't confident in whether or not the group would enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To lay out a proper amount of money.
Yeah.
20 quid for a little thing and getting a free game, that's fine.
Yeah.
But spending bigger money on things, I wasn't sure of. I would now pick up, be looking at Catacombs, which is a dungeon crawler with flicking skills.
Okay.
And looks really, really good. There's a great shut up and sit down play through video of that.
Which I'm sure we can
sold
link.
me on it. Yeah, we'll pop a link down because we do like their stuff. And there's also a Wild West game called Flick 'em Up, like shoot 'em up, which works in a similar sort of fashion where you put the bullet down. The bullet is a little plastic, little wooden token, and you flick it across the board, and it knocks things over. And that uses meeples and stuff like that.
That sounds cool.
So, if any of you have played those games and have a recommendation, let us know which one we should get first.
Yeah.
We might even do a video review or like a playthrough video if you do so, because that'd be quite cool. Yeah, cool. So our third and final game is the game formerly known as Rampage. Then it was like a little symbol that apparently meant love for contractual purposes. Then it released an album and it was fine again, and it was called Terror in Meeple City. Music jokes. So Terror in Meeple City, formerly called Rampage, had to change its name because it was named after the old arcade game Rampage.
Yes.
Did either of you play that?
I did, yes.
I have seen it, but I've not played it. It didn't appeal particularly.
It's violent destruction. It's great. It's again. It's the same as these, I suppose. It is the arcade equivalent of the game. All these games. It's just a matter of go and press buttons, cause as much havoc as possible.
Yay! You were fighting enemies.
Yeah.
In a
apartment building type thing, or a skyscraper.
Yeah. In a city and destroying the buildings as you try to beat up your opponents, which is exactly what you do in Terror in Meeple City. You're technically playing, is it kaiju?
Yes.
Giant Japanese monster beasts.
Yes.
Monster beasts is a bit of a tautology. Is that the science of making really nice cakes?
You can have monster robots, monster beasts.
So they all look a bit like a Godzilla kind of creature.
They're just different coloured Godzillas, aren't they?
Yes.
Peach Dragon, Some
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
yeah,
green one does,
yeah,
especially.
Yeah. So you play one of these. You have two pieces to your monster. You have a circular disc that's its feet, and then you have a wooden block that is
The rest of it.
the rest of it. You set up the board to resemble a city by placing meeples as the sort of the corners of the buildings, and then placing flat bits of card to be the floors.
Yeah.
Like the entire city's been built by the mafia.
Yeah.
Poured concrete over hundreds of meeples. Built the city.
They form your kind of the pillars between the levels, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
And the idea of the game is to hoover up as many meeples as you can, try to build coloured sets,
Yes.
and also attacking the other kaiju and reducing their ability to eat meatballs and getting points. You get points for basically destroying anything, so you can eat bits of floor that come free and things like that.
Consume each other's teeth.
Yes. So each turn you've got two actions. You can move by flicking a wooden disc across the board.
Yeah.
You can use your breath weapon by actually putting your chin on top of the your monster and blowing.
Yes.
You can stomp on a building, so if your feet are resting on the curb around the building, you can drop your monster from above the building and smash it down.
Yeah.
Or you can pick up one of the 4 trucks, as long as it's in the same area as you, and flick it across put it on your monster's head, flick it across the board, try and damage whatever it is you want to smash.
Which was my favourite thing to do.
Yes, and then you hoover up some of the meeples in your area that have been knocked onto the floor, and play goes round. What do we think of that then? My brief rules explanation complete.
Can we play it again? You just reminded me. I haven't played it in a while. You just reminded me of how much fun I've had playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played it with you and Rob.
Yes.
Not played with Aaron.
No, I don't think you have.
Is that why you look so sad?
Yeah. But
Tense, mate.
it is good. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Just in much the same vein that all of the ones. This one takes the most setup.
Yeah, it takes quite a long time to set up, but I quite enjoy setting up and building the building with the meeples in the corners.
It's like building a little tower of cards.
Yes.
It's not tedious. It's not get this out and shuffle this deck and put it here, then shuffle this one and put it
We're
here.
going to put that like that.
Yeah, and find the 3 missing whatever cards that have fallen underneath somewhere or
Been eaten by the cat or whatever,
Yeah, the cat would do that.
There's a couple of extra elements you can add to the couple of variants and do the game.
Yes.
One of them, if any sort of the meeples that fly outside the board, which is quite likely when you're dropping a large wooden block from quite a height onto a building.
Yeah.
I was just going to interject as well, and where you say block, the blocks are lizard shaped.
Yes.
It's not just a square thing with a thing on it.
Yeah, and the trucks are truck shaped with
Yeah.
some stickers on the side.
Yeah.
The meeples,
Meeples.
yeah, but their blondes are different, a different shape.
Oh yeah, they're
skirts on.
shaped like the women's toilet sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, makes a difference. But yeah,
Although calling them the blondes isn't quite so nice.
Yeah, as Boris said, so each of the coloured meeples is basically a different type of person. So you've got the blondes, you've got policemen, you've got the army.
Fire service, is it?
It's something like that. I think the red ones are for the fire service.
Fire service is superhero. The red ones are superheroes.
Superheroes, yes. And when you drop on, if these pieces fall outside of the board, they go on out to look for help, essentially. And they group together, and each one does a different thing. So the superheroes will come and punch the one who set them off and knock other meeples out of their stomach.
Yeah, the businessman will serve you an injunction and move you to a different part of the board. And that kind of thing. So, yes, there's various, because you've got a basic one where you just sort of you line them up and you take a little bit of damage or a little bit of ability. You've got one where it ticks down like a timer.
Yeah.
The game normally ends when all of the floor pieces have been eaten.
Yeah.
Or all of the monsters have got their lives removed, which are their teeth.
Yes.
So as you get damaged, you can eat less meeples and things like that. There's also ability cards that you can deal out where you get special abilities. I've had one where my monster was a climber, so I could put it on top of any building that I was touching the curb of.
Yeah.
Which was great for getting across the city quickly because I'd put him on the top, take the block off and flick the feet generally into someone's face on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be aiming to do. I really enjoy playing this. Again, it's not something that I would want to play every single week or to play 3 or 4 games of in a row.
I'd
start
not
to
at
get
all.
a bit bored.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But pulling it out every few weeks and having a go and having a laugh, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
We've had things like the fire truck bouncing off the wall off a nearby glass and then landing on someone's head and knocking them out. We have had some really weird things that have happened that aren't covered in the rules, like a building collapsing on top of a monster's feet and then go, well, what do we do? And we just had to make up some rules as we go. Go along.
But again, it's not a game for hardcore competitive gamers. It's one that you play for fun, so you just go, we'll just do this.
I mean, I did sneeze once and knock a building down. So, you can't...
It's tornado season, these things happen.
Yes, yeah. So, you can't take it seriously. It does have the potential for more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I don't really like sort of the powers and such like cards. Because you also get things where you like your monsters looking for different types of meeples and things like that.
Yeah, so you get a special bonus if you collect 4 of superheroes rather than someone else.
I can have enough fun just playing it normally without these bits in. I suppose if you were playing it more regularly, you might.
That's it. I think if this is one of your main games that you really enjoy playing as a family or as a group or whatever, then I think that added bit of depth with those is nice.
It's a nice bit of variety.
Yeah,
because you don't have to bother. It doesn't force you to use these extra things.
It's very true.
Yeah. This is another game that's more fun with
more players.
Yeah.
I have played it 2-player and it's not anywhere near as fun. It's very different.
You spend most of the game just targeting each other, whereas
or knocking the buildings down and sitting on opposite sides of the board to each other and not doing a lot.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I would heartily recommend this. It is a bit more expensive. It's £45.
Yeah.
RRP.
I'd still purchase it at that price, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
I think
you've got the solid wooden pieces. There's nice bits that come with it.
The bits and pieces in it are very nice. They're high quality. They're durable.
Definitely.
They look nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the kind of game I would pay that much money out for. But that's a level of disposable income thing. Again, money is awkward to talk about. It's one of those. I don't think I would get enough use out of it. But that's not to say that I don't think it's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's not. As I said, it's not super balanced, especially when you start adding the cards in.
They get ridiculous. Yeah.
But as long as you're approaching it in a spirit of fun, we're going to have a giggle and a laugh and a joke. It's good fun.
It is.
I've not regretted spending that much money on it.
No.
I bought it in a fit of hobby joy and then realised I genuinely thought no one would play it with me. Managed to get it on the table. We played it and then everyone was like, "Can we do that again?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thank God for that," because it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
When you were kids, guys, what was your favourite physical game? Doesn't have to be a flicking game, but a game that involved physicality, dexterity, those kinds of things.
I went through a period of playing very similar to the Cube Quest game.
Yeah,
but using Space Marines, and that was fun.
Did you make that up?
Yeah,
cool.
Just using Space Marines.
Yeah,
and firing them at each other.
Why not?
That was fun. But yeah, there's. Oh, I don't know.
You know what I used to absolutely fucking love?
What's
and
that?
I look back at it now and go, you were such a simpleton. Pogs.
Tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks, that was it. That was the last time I ever played that.
Sicklywinks.
No, Pogs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just stacking bits of card up and then smacking them with a big plastic thing really hard until you flip them over to a certain extent. It was overly simplistic, but had a collectible element to it, which I quite liked. And it was a nice. The physicality was
I
quite
think
fun.
you being a couple of years older, I never enjoyed Pogs, but I think that was as a possibly slightly younger child because they were a very short-lived fad.
Yeah, they lasted about maybe a year, maybe 2.
Yeah,
and I was at the end of my primary school. When that
I'm just trying to think what else there was around those sort of times.
Well, I always wanted, when you had especially at primary school, you'd have a day at the end of term or the end of the year where you could bring in games and stuff.
No.
No.
We won't trust them stuff like that.
They got fed shandy.
Did you have that, or was it just mine?
it was-
Okay, so Aaron's the odd one out, which means he's the freak. Excellent. Continue. And I had a couple mates who had these, and I loved it. And I never got one of my own. I might remedy that because I've just found one online for 15 quid. Do you remember Screwball Scramble?
Oh God,
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, Screwball Scramble involves guiding a ball bearing through a variety of physical, skill-based games and puzzles. So you'd start off with a wobbly bridge. You'd press a button to make the bridge move, and you'd have to sort of time it to flick it along. There was a bit with a magnet and a little drawbridge to move it round. You'd then have 2 bars that you'd sort of make closer together and further away with a little twisty bit to try and make it roll. A little maze that you could move and you could fall out the end. Some bits where you had to hit a button to make it jump up a series of stairs and through a goal. A maze then that was covered, which was trickier. And then it'd have like a big pendulous hammer arm that would then ring a bell, and you'd complete it. And it'd have a timer on most of the versions that I played. Really, really enjoyed that because there was loads of variety to what you were doing. You'd only ever be doing one bit for like 30 seconds maybe. You could get competitive because you got the timer. And yeah, I mean, it looks really outdated by sort of modern standards, but as like a game for kids, I really I was massively jealous of my my friends who had that when I was younger.
I never got a chance to play it, but I'd always wanted to because I played a game on the...
Oh, Aaron!
Yeah, we weren't allowed toys.
Not in my house.
Well, no, because
Did you just have a Bible?
Nuns! That's what we had! Come round and physically educate us.
I had something better, to be fair. On the Commodore 64, I had Marble Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Which was essentially that, but
just the digital version.
I remember there being sort of like the games where you'd have a marble and you'd have holes to fall through and you try and guide it through a maze. One knob to twist it front to back and one to twist it left to right, and you try to guide it around corners. They were quite good fun as well. But I had one of those, so it didn't have the appeal of Screwball Scramble.
Kaplunk was a good one. I quite enjoyed that. We had I think there was a copy of that at my grandma's, so I used to play that a lot. So Kaplunk was good. I can't really think of that many that I played with. Marble Madness again, I remember.
Do you remember the old? They were filled with water.
Oh, and you press
on each side
to get the hoops through the.
Those were great as well.
They weren't great. They were fucking shit. But they were there.
They're shit by modern standards.
Just like those ones where you'd pull the thing down and ping a ball and try and get it to sit in the different bits as well.
I had a big table, like a proper pinball table size. Like
what we. Ping.
Almost like a pachinko kind of thing. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you remember Ball in a Cup?
Yes.
I still enjoy a good ball in a cup.
Don't need to do the song.
No. Okay. But the ball is attached by a string to the cup, etc.
Yes.
Cool. I feel really nostalgic for a lost era of physical games.
Yeah. Really shitty physical games.
Yeah, but I think there's something satisfying about doing something physically. It's a very different feeling to going, I've played this combo of cards, or I've outthought you in this way, and now I shall seize Russia for the communists.
It's very different actually picking up a gun and seizing Russia.
You feel much more connected to the game. And because you're not stuck within the boundaries of set rules, weird stuff can happen.
Yes.
There's much more scope for strange things. I've laughed so hard to the point where I could barely stand up straight playing Terror in Meeple City, because we've had 2 people in a row try to blow a building down and just gently fart from their mouths onto the... that's called a burp, isn't it? Just gently sort of exfoliate the sort of air condition the buildings and not knock anything down. It's really taps into that kind of that silly mode.
Yeah.
Out of the 3 then, Aaron, which one's your favourite of the 3?
I'm actually going to go with Terror in Meeple City, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ice Cool, close second, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah.
Very close second.
Joe?
I like Ice Cool.
Yep.
It's simple, it's quick, it doesn't have the setup time and everything else.
Yeah.
I like it. There's no small pieces to lose, and I quite like that. Terra and Meeple said it would be second. Cube Quest is a lot of fun, but I like multiplayer things more than the multiplayer stuff.
These sort of games particularly work very well with that kind of thing.
See, I think I like Cube Quest the most.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because it has that little bit of strategy on what you pick and what you choose to use.
Yeah.
And also, I was getting really good at it. And I'm the kind of person I like things I can be good at.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an only child, so I'm not used to any kind of difficulty in life. But being able to sort of flick a cube from one corner all the way across the board to the other and take something out that you're aiming at, I felt my most skillful when I managed to pull stuff like that off in Cube Quest.
Yeah.
I'm still finding Ice cool. It's not a criticism. Actually, probably it speaks in its favour. I'm still finding it quite hard to manoeuvre the penguins. I know what I want to do, but I'm not consistent enough.
Yeah.
The curves and the spinning them round is difficult. I'm really good at jumping.
Yeah.
And Terra Meeple City is great fun, but it is very silly.
Yeah. Just why not cool. Those, but... So we've become the critically undecided twits this week.
Well, no, we are all unanimous in the fact that they're all good games.
Yes.
But we all like different ones for different reasons.
Yeah.
Where's the conflict?
Colin's not here, Aaron.
You're wrong, Aaron.
He's at the pub drinking.
That's racist.
Cool. So thank you very much for listening. If you've got a recommendation for what I should pick up next out of Catacombs, which is really hard to get hold of, but I will do my best, and flick them up, then let us know. If you've got any other suggestions, some games we may have missed out, things that we've missed, haven't mentioned, then please get in touch. You can use the comments. You can contact us on Twitter at critical_twits. You can follow us on Facebook, and we are on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Yes.
And we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I don't get out a lot.
You know, you're with us most of the time.
I know. I'd like to have a sensible conversation with someone, with a normal amount of facial hair. Although if you have a really big beard, that's fine. You can. No, you can't go.
No, you can talk to me and Aaron.
Yeah. You can have some kind of bearded weirdo club. What is this?
That the Germans won't approve of.
So thank you very much for listening. I've been Brian Ennis.
I've been Aaron Visky.
And I've been Joe Lewin.
We have been the Critical Twits. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye. That doesn't fit what I was talking about, but I wouldn't mind trying to shave a weasel. I reckon it makes some awesome noises.